Welcome back to another Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday episode here on the Everything Sports with Aman and Evan YouTube channel. Of course, these 10-minute episodes are only here on YouTube, so if you would like to listen to the debut of F1 we had a lot of guests over there, so make sure to tune in to Spotify and Apple. F1's going to be introduced more, talking about baseball more, so this podcast, especially this month, next month, and beyond, a lot of sports, a lot of content is going to come out from our channel. So make sure, if you like the 10-minute episodes, stay here on YouTube. But if you like longer form episodes, of course, tune into Spotify and Apple. But without further ado, of course, like I said, follow us on all social media platforms. Evans, my Instagram, Twitter, everything is linked in the description below. But I mean, today I guess we'll do a recap of All Star Weekend because it's starting to lose its charm, in my opinion. Because I remember in 2017 and like 2016, like even though the scores were high, it would still be entertaining, somewhat competitive. The dunk contest had elite players. Like I was talking with Evan, like everyone's dream dunk contest right now would be John Morant, Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon if he's willing, because he got robbed out of, in my opinion, one, because I feel like that 2016 dunk contest, they were going back and forth, and even though Aaron Gordon was more creative, I feel like Zach LaVine won that fair and square, so I don't think he got robbed in that dunk contest. But the one against Derrick Jones Jr., like, even if he grazes Taco Fall's head, how is that enough to make him lose? And I do want to point out Dwayne Wade was a judge, and Derrick Jones Jr. was on the Heat at that time doing the dunk contest on his birthday. So, I mean, definitely got robbed there. And I'll keep Mac McClung in because he got hops for sure, creativeness, and honestly, like, why was Jaylen Brown in over Jacob Toppin? Like, people are only going to remember this dunk contest not because of the actual dunks, but because of how terrible the judges were. And I like Jaylen Brown buying into he can't use his left hand and doing a left-handed dunk, but even then, like, you jumped over Kai Cenat, who's pretty short as it is, while he was sitting down. And I get he has so many posters, but I feel like Kenny Smith said it. Like, Kenny Smith, we'll get on to him later. He was just unnecessarily hating throughout the night. And I agree when he said he's only an in-game dunker, not fit for the dunk contest. I do agree with that because if you just get a lot of posters, that doesn't necessarily mean you have like the best dunks, the best hops. Like I feel like if LeBron did the dunk contest one time, we would have loved to see that, like especially in his prime, because he's jumped over people in the game. Giannis has too, and I just feel like Jaylen Brown, like what was he doing in the dunk contest? Like so we were losing its charm there. The 3 point contest is a 3 point contest. Skills challenge is a skill challenge. Celebrity game is honestly most of the times entertaining. This was entertaining for sure, seeing Micah Parsons take over because obviously he went back and forth with CJ Stroud on his podcast. So you remember like these weekends for honestly it used to be the dunk contest and then the All-Star game. And now the dunk contest being into question, the All-Star game, I get why players aren't competitive because if they get injured playing in the All-Star game, and obviously it's unlikely, but you always have to be prepared for the worst case scenarios and everything like that. And so I understand why players don't want to make it competitive, but as a result, it's just more boring for fans. Like I seen somewhere on Sports Center, I believe, or ESPN, whoever posted it on social media that I think Son Whiteside said the winning conference gets home court advantage for the NBA Finals. I do not agree with that because if both one seeds make it, or if one seed on the East makes it with the best record but gets away for the NBA Finals, like that's just unfair to them. Obviously, the All Star game doesn't count for your regular season record, so I disagree with that, but maybe like the in-season tournament where the winning team, like obviously there's a charitable aspect which obviously would motivate players to win, but there was just a lack of effort. Highest scoring all-star game ever, and it just became boring after one point because obviously, like, we're Warrior fans here, but it just wasn't entertaining. Like, even though obviously Steph Curry's entertaining with the way he shoots threes, Dame the same way. I'm not knocking them, but no one wants to just shoot threes. Everyone wants to see great defense, competitiveness. Like when they first, obviously now they're back to the East and West. I thought the West would wax the East. I thought everyone thought that too, but it was just Tyrese Halliburton took over in Indiana. Dame did the same. Karl Anthony Towns had 50. I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown had 36 or 39. So crazy scoring all around, but it just wasn't entertaining at all, and it's like losing its charm. And I feel like the same way you did with the in-season tournament, give them like bonuses in their contracts, give them more money in addition to the charitable aspect, because I feel like that would motivate them more. But and I disagree with the NBA Finals one getting home court because you're just punishing a great regular season team for no reason at all. Because I get why players don't want to be injured, but when they first introduced the Steph and LeBron drafting like the All Star captains, when they first introduced that, like it was it was competitive. Like towards the end, I'm pretty sure Team LeBron only won by 3, if I'm not mistaken, and so where did that competitiveness go? Because ever since then, it hasn't been competitive at all. Like when they first introduced the Kobe format of adding 24 to the target score, obviously that didn't happen this time, but when they first did that, it was competitive. I'm pretty sure Team LeBron like barely edged out Team Giannis because Anthony Davis won the game on free throws. But after that, even that wasn't motivating players. And so something needs to happen to incentivize players. I understand why Anthony Edwards said no one wants to be competitive in the All Star game and risk injury, but even if it's like some soreness or anything like that, you still have 3 to 4 days after the All Star game to recover. And it used to be really competitive, and you can make the argument that the Stephen Curry versus Sabrina Ionescu 3 point contest was the highlight of All Star Weekend because Sabrina, and this is where I get on for Kenny for hating. Like, I understand your point, but when Sabrina says she anyway shoots from there and wanted to shoot from there, why are you hating? I feel like Kenny Smith in one weekend just showed why he shouldn't be commentating any of the All Star events. Because even he's like, he was just hating all weekend. Like, you don't really want that negative energy when you're celebrating like these all-star players, all-star talent. And Ionescu, on the brighter side, was made a score good enough to tie Damian Lillard's winning total. And I feel like if you have some NBA, WNBA crossover with elite talent like her, Caitlin Clark, and others, I feel like it's going to be entertaining. But if it's Steph, Damian Lillard, Steph, and Clay versus them two, I'm still going to roll with them because I Steph just showed like he got 29. He very well could have crossed 30. Had he made both starry shots, the ones that count for 3 points each, he would have been at 35. And Steph showed there's levels to this. Like, obviously, he has nothing to play for, even though Dame has the record, or not record, but made or won two 3 point contests and obviously got the All Star Game MVP. Steph has that and obviously has the most threes made ever. And so I feel like the incentive for Steph to compete in the 3 point shootout's not really there. Honestly, when he retires, they should just rename the trophy after him because, I mean, he's the best shooter ever. And I just feel like that was the highlight. There was so much hype. They did so well. Ionescu made the first 7. I thought like she was gonna get 30 for sure, but obviously sort of cooled off towards the end there. But she definitely gave Steph a run for his money. I can tell you that much. So in my opinion, that and the celebrity game and I guess throw in the 3-point contest because Dame missed his first four in the last rack. He had to be trolling there. I feel like he definitely had to be trolling just so he can do his Dame time celebration. So I feel like the Steph shootout with Ionescu, the celebrity game, like they were easily more entertaining than the All Star game and the dunk contest. When I feel like it should be the All Star game and the dunk contest the highlight, and so both both events have just lost its charm. So there has to be incentives because everyone wants Ja Morant, maybe Zion, but for sure Ja Morant, Zach LaVine, and Aaron Gordon because they still got hops for sure. And then Mac McClung still deserves to be in there because they're so flashy. But at least if you put Ja Morant, Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, and then if Zion wants to do it, then honestly do that. Like there's so many great players for dunk contests. Ja Morant wants incentives to be in the dunk contest. So I feel like give the players what they want because ultimately most of the times that's what the fans want as well. So just give them incentives to make the All-Star game and dunk contest a highlight of the weekend, which is what it was for a while and honestly should be because now that the shootouts like Steph and Sabrina might be there permanently, I think it should. There's going to be more events, and so I feel like if you still want the dunk contest and All-Star game to be entertaining for fans because you're just going to lose viewership on All-Star weekend for those specific events if you don't give the players incentives to try and make it more competitive. And as for the dunk contest, like just choose the right guys. Let's be honest. Jaylen Brown didn't belong in there, even though he has a lot of posters. Let's be honest. So that's my take. I think dunk contest and All Star game definitely should be the highlights of the weekend. But if the celebrity game, which consists of obviously celebrities who may or may not know how to play basketball, is more entertaining than the actual dunk contest and All Star game itself, then you have problems. And so that's my take. Thank you for tuning in to Monday's episode. Tune in tomorrow to hear what Evan has to say. But without that, tune in to Spotify and Apple if you like those episodes. But we post sports content daily here on YouTube and TikTok. Link in the description. See you later.